In the Shiva Purana, there is another story. We read in Srimad Bhagavatam also of how the Devas and the Asuras churned the ocean of milk for the purpose of getting nectar, Amrit. Dhanvantari appeared at the very conclusion of this incredible pastime with this pot of nectar. The demigods and the demons were fighting over it, and ultimately the demons snatched it. The devas were in a completely helpless state. So they prayed to Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu appeared as the most beautiful woman anyone could imagine. Her name was Mohini. And she went right before the demons, the Asuras, and glanced at them. And each of them was thinking, she loves me. And she spoke so sweetly. And each of them surrendered to her because they thought she loves only me. You know, there's a dispute because after the Asuras took all the nectar, they were fighting over who were to take it first. They wouldn't let any of each other take it. Even if they were going to share it, each one thought, I should have the honors of having it first. So as the Asuras were fighting over it, the demigods were just sitting there completely bereft, and Mohini appeared. And all the Asuras, they said, Mohini, you take this whole pot of nectar and you distribute it as you want. And each one was convinced she's going to give it to me only. Such was her beauty. She took it and gave it all to the demigods. So Lord Shiva met Lord Vishnu. And he said, I heard about this Mohini Murti. I want to see this form. Lord Vishnu said, I don't think you want to see this form. He said, no, I want to see this form. So then Lord Vishnu said, all right, and he left. And Lord Shiva was sitting, and suddenly Mohini Murti appeared. And she was playing with a ball. And she was so beautiful. Lord Shiva was so attracted to her. He started running to catch her, and she was running away. But she was running in such a way that she didn't even seem to be running. She would just glance at him and then look somewhere else and glance at him. Parvati was sitting next to Shiva, and he left Parvati. And as Mohini, she ran to a hermitage where Shiva's devotees, who were all sadhus and babas, performing severe austerities. They were brahmacharis, they were sannyasis, they were doing all this to worship Shiva. And they're all chanting his names and performing yajnas. And suddenly the most beautiful woman comes running right through their hermitage, and they all look down and turn their heads away. Because they didn't want to displease Lord Shiva by looking at her. But then the next thing that happened is they saw Lord Shiva. And he was running after her. And they didn't know what to do. And ultimately, she came to a special place, and she allowed Lord Shiva to touch her. Then she disappeared. And when he touched her, his potency, his seed came out from his body. The power of Lord Shiva was there. Lord Shiva's own identity was in that seed. And that was entrusted to the Sapta Rishis, the 7 great sages. Lord Shiva explained to them, you should take this and give it to Vayu. Lord Vayu, he took that seed and brought it to Anjana. Lord Shiva's potency and identity was in that seed. And Vayu, he invested his own personality and his own potencies within that seed. And Vayu, as the wind, placed it within Anjana, through her ear. Different explanations. And Hanuman was born.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on devotionalnectar.com.